Up guys, welcome. I'm just gonna give it a couple of seconds for everybody to jump on, and then we'll jump in and have a look. If you are already in, give me a comment, a hello or something, so that I know that you're here and that you can hear me well. Had a bit of a dramatic move yesterday on Bitcoin, so just wanted to give it a day to let the market settle and see what we can potentially find today. Hi Carrie, you can hear me okay? Awesome, thank you Al. I've got my alerts going off already. That's good news. I wanted to get in today right before the what do you call it, 4-hour candle close, to see if we can find anything. So let's start on the daily and just have a quick look at what's going on. So we did break 30k. We're obviously just sitting below 30k now. However, we have not broken the liquid zone that we've sort of marked as the bottom this whole time. So until we actually get below these 2 weeks here, which fall at exactly, what is that, 28,850, we're still holding up. So there is still a chance that we could change trend and head up. But yeah, if we get below there, which I think is just as likely at this stage, then we're going to have some problems. Okay, so looking at the daily, we did get a candle close into the zone and also into these previous weeks. So that is an issue because the thing with the wicks is it's showing us that there are buyers there that will buy as soon as price gets down into this zone. But once we start getting bearish candle closes within it, it shows us the buyers are really weak here. So that's interesting. But let's go down to the 4-hour and see. For me, it's still only trading really small time frames just because of the uncertainty. Now, looking at yesterday, so this was the previous wick that we need to close this week in order to expect further downside, right? Now, when price takes a dip into a zone like this and has that strong buying pressure out of it, we can usually expect that at some point in time it's going to come back to test that zone again, which is what it's doing now. But the thing is if there was any strength in this market, then the candles wouldn't look like the way that they look right now. So the fact that we're eating into this zone kind of tells me that this is just a little bit of a pause in the market before we head further down. So I'm going to be very, very cautious about that, especially because if Bitcoin does break down to the downside one more time, that's going to take everything else with it. So for me personally, I'm not looking to trade the way that I normally trade with divergence indicators and stuff like that. I'm not looking to take long trades off divergence because the fact of where Bitcoin is right now is very, very high risk. So I'm only really going to look at that if the opportunity looks really, really good, looks like it might, take off independent of what Bitcoin does, or Bitcoin makes an actual move out of this zone in one way or the other. So yeah, on the 4-hour, this is not looking great at all. What I will be looking for now is, let's have a look. So definitely going to expect more downside on Bitcoin. Let me just put fibs on this. Now, it's kind of a difficult one of where to put it. If we put it just on the last move down, then yeah, coming back up to retest this kind of 50 level would still keep us in line with this inner trend line. And then I would expect that we would head further down there, probably to close out this wick at the very least. So another touch down to 28,800, I think is likely. If there is strong momentum from that, then I think, yeah, we're going to go back down to the levels that we've talked about previously. I think there's just a huge gap between these two levels. So if we close those previous wicks out, then I think it could potentially be a sharp move down. Now, the other thing I wanted to note was I was watching, there's a channel on YouTube called Cryptos Are Us, and he's a fundamental kind of, he's not a trader, he's just a hodler, but he actually said something very interesting today. So definitely go and check out his channel today for today's episode, where he talks about why this big move happened, because what he said alone makes me very cautious of opening a trade right now. Basically what he was saying was the reason we had this big push was because there was something like, I can't remember how many, but billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin was sold on Coinbase, and like billions of dollars, sorry, in one go doesn't get sold on the retail market, right? So it's usually not done that way. So he was really skeptical, because he was like, well, was that done on purpose to freak out retail traders? Otherwise, why would you do that? Why would you sell billions on Coinbase? So what he was saying makes perfect sense. If you want more information about that, definitely go check out his channel. So what does that mean though? It means like, if that were the case, then is it that they're just trying to get us back down to the 28 so that they can buy? The other thing too was, if it was billions of dollars, well, billions of dollars only moved us 4%. So, that's something to keep in mind as well. It wasn't a huge move considering it was billions of dollars. So then if you keep that in mind, what is it going to take to get us down to here? So it's still very, very likely until we break this 28,750 area. It really is any man's game. We really don't know right now. So short term, if I'm looking for anything, I'm probably going to wait and see if we start to form a bit of a bear flag here, something like this. Do we push up to the 38 or 50 area, maintain underneath this trend line? Then there may be a short, little day trade out of there somewhere, just back down to close the wick. But it's going to be a high risk trade. It's only going to be a little day trade. So yeah, it's either that or just wait. The other option is, so if I just mark that in, we'll probably, going to watch for something like this to break down and then head down to that target. For me, I wouldn't take a trade like that. As I mentioned a lot, I don't really like to short into wicks. However, if we did get it and there was heaps of momentum in it, it's going to blast right through that zone. It could turn out to be a amazing trade. I really can't be bothered with taking that kind of risk at the moment. I'm happy to just sit on my hands. However, what I will be more interested in is if the opposite happens and we end up breaking this trend line, changing market structure and start to head out, then I'll be more interested in taking the long. But I'm 100% not confident that's going to happen. I am more on the side of more downside than upside. But yeah, until the market shows me which way it wants to break out, then not that interested. So that's kind of how I'm feeling on Bitcoin at the moment. Now, Ethereum was really interesting. So I was watching Ethereum last night and didn't take a trade, but there was a trade here. So and there was a divergence trade on the 4 hour. Actually, let me just zoom out to the daily to show you very, very quickly how we landed right on support. And actually, one thing I wanted to show you, which was very interesting, is that on this chart here is Ethereum USDT perp. So this is the perpetual chart for Binance USDT futures, right? And the demand zone is down here because of this wick, right? But if we go to the spot chart, the wick never went that far down. So that really goes to show you how they definitely do those stop hunts when you're leverage trading, and you got to be careful of it. So I'm not using this chart for my TA just because I can see that manipulation. I'm going to use the spot chart on Ethereum because I think it's a bit more realistic of what's happening. Now, what I like about Ethereum is, you know, again, like we're coming into this zone right here. We have come into it, but looks like that's a sorry, that's a pretty good daily hammer yesterday. And if we go down to the 4 hour, I didn't take this trade, but I do feel that there was a trade to take here. So there was, if you see here on the RSI, we had divergence from here on the 4 hour. So that was, here we go. That was really promising to me. I did consider taking it, but because we had such a strong move and it landed in the demand zone, as I mentioned before, when we land there, it's likely that we come back and take a second stab. So I'm still not ruling out something like this happening still, even though we have divergence. So that's why for me, it was too high a risk trade for me to take, even though I thought if it plays out, it would have been a beautiful bottom picking trade. But yeah, I'm gonna sit out and I'm gonna actually wait for the change in market structure on this one before I consider lower time frame longs. So what I am looking for now is for the RSI to continue up, retest the 50 level, and then turn around and look like it's heading up again. So on the price, that will start to create a trend. Oops. Hang on. That will start to create a trend then at the same time, and we'll start to form a new trend line, something like that. So if I can get that and a second touch, then I'll consider opening along. That will have me feeling like we're definitely recovering, at least short term, and I'll probably only take that. I might move this level down just to be safe, just take it back to resistance. So that's what I'm waiting for there on Ethereum as a little day trade. And that's all I have to say about that. Then ADA. So this was the trade from the live stream. We took this off the 1 hour. The live stream day before yesterday. So we did break down out of that. We're waiting for a breakout either side of this. Hit the target beautifully. So that would have been an amazing trade. I didn't take this trade, but damn it. But anyway, that's fine. What do I think now? So I'm not, because of where price has landed, I'm trying to get more of an idea on a bit of a higher time frame. Are we going to bounce? So I'm going to get rid of this trade now. Are we going to bounce and head up, or are we just going to create a new lower high and head further down? Darren, my RSI settings are just the standard settings, but now if you add the new RSI, hang on, I won't add it again, I'll just edit it. The new RSI now has the middle band that you can tick on, and I just changed the color and made it a flat line so that it's really obvious to me, because I like to trade off the 50 line. Other than that, I haven't changed anything. So yeah, let me just get a bigger view of ADA at the moment. So I'm going to get rid of this target. That trade played out. Support is back down here. So I mentioned on that live stream how ADA's one of the only ones that it just seems to just keep bouncing off the dollar level. And we talked about the fact that out of all the alts, this one is kind of like surviving, not the best, but very well, because there's so much ADA locked up, right? So it really seems every time ADA gets to $1, people are willing to buy it. And does that mean I think the dollar is the bottom? No. If Bitcoin comes down to, 24 or whatever, it's going to take the whole market with it. But, we're literally at the bottom right now. And if you can find a little day trade on the 4 hour or the 1 hour, then it's probably worth taking. So with ADA, let me look at the 4 hour. I don't have any divergence on the 4 hour. Definitely have still a downtrend. Still highly likely that we come up, create a lower high, and take one more stab at that support. Still so likely. However, if you're trading the 1 hour and you're like basically a scalper, if you're on the 1 hour, then that doesn't mean that there isn't a trade in that attempted recovery, right? Because last night on the 1 hour, it's too late now, but last night on the 1 hour, it's kind of hard to pick, but it is there was a 1 hour divergence. So and the divergence lined up exactly with support. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I did a video on this, full explanation on my channel. It got released last night at 7 o'clock. So definitely go have a look at my channel, how to trade the RSI divergence and the 50 level video, because I explain it fully. And there's also like a PDF that you can download that gives you everything in writing, so you can always have that at your desk when you're practicing the strategy. So with this one, the entry would have been off the bullish engulfing there after the divergence was created, and your stop just below the wick. And you could potentially take this back up to this level here. That's going to give you a 2.7 to 1 trade. So hasn't played out yet, but here's the thing, right? Look at this. Now, if that plays out, and this is the inner trend line that we've created, and we get back up to here and fail, well, now you're going to get that lower high that I talked about, and you could just short it back down. So that's a bag flip trade. So there's two potential trades you could get out of this. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Doesn't matter if you missed this long, which I didn't take it either. It was too high risk for me with the way the market was dumping. But I'm going to take this short if we head up there. We'll have to see how this looks at the time, because it's already at the 50 now. But if we head up there and we can't hold above this level, there's potentially going to be a short there. So I'm going to change this here to resistance. I'm going to keep it underneath, because yeah, you'll have this whole area actually is what you're going to need to watch for rejection right here. So let's see how we go with that. Are we going to break that trend and head up? If we do, then again, wait for the break, wait for the retest, and there's probably a long back up to this wider trend line. But if we don't, then there could be a short back down to support. And again, I'm not ruling out, I am definitely more short than I am long right now, just because I do expect a second stab into the zone. But I am very prepared for this to be the bottom and the market turn around. And all I need now is that change in market structure to give me permission to enter along, which I don't quite have right yet. Now, BNB, same thing. That was what we were looking for a short. We did fall out there. This here, this 50 test here. So this area would have been the short entry right there, and could have got a lot out of that trade. So that one's done. We'll get rid of that one now. Do you consider MACD on higher timeframes, week, month, or more focused on your... So for me, MACD, I do love it, but I really only use it for higher timeframes when I need, like, when the market is really unclear and I'm looking for some sort of a hint as to which way we might break out. So at the moment, we're in a clear downtrend, so I'm not really looking at MACD. but I might give it a few days. And if we hang around, if we hover in the demand zone that we're in now, I probably will add it and see if I can get a hint of, are we turning around or not. So yeah, I definitely do like MACD on the higher time frames, but not really considering it right now. Okay, so what's this BNB? So BNB, well, let's look at BNB on a higher level. Like, look at this, right? This is very obvious when you zoom out that we are still in this symmetrical triangle, right? Which is continuation. However, it's not guaranteed continuation, right? It's just a pattern. So it could very easily, what am I doing? From here, push out, retest that resistance and head up. So definitely nothing to do whilst you're in the triangle on a higher time frame. But it goes to show candle close wise, like this support level is a very strong one. What is that at? 260. So at $260, people are willing to buy BNB. And then the next level that we've only come down to a couple of times is 210. So that's good. Let's see if a lower time frame will show us that, it's likely to head down, or are we going to recover? So these candles are looking pretty strong at the moment on BNB. But they could, again, just be strong to build the bear flag and then take a second hit down. So there's nothing clear on the 4 hour for me. Let's look at the 1 hour. The 1 hour, so the 1 hour created divergence as well. So it could have potentially been a little long day trade here, but was too risky for me with how much drama there was to the downside beforehand. So not looking at that, but am now looking at a trend to form here. Let me just change this and I'll get rid of that. And looks like we're just peaking above the 50 now. I want to see it really pop up over it though. So that little touch is not enough. I do want to see it pop up, come back, turn around. And if that can happen at the same time price goes up, back, test this trend line and head off, that's going to be my entry. So I don't know exactly what price that's going to be right now. But I'll be watching the 50 level. Pretty sure I already have an alert on it to let me know if we can break through and then come back to it. There's going to be a long there, and I'm going to take that long back up to this cluster as well. I'm going to keep it lower just because see how wicky we are here. I don't want to try and aim for just a little bit extra percent and then miss my take profit and stuff like that. So I'm going to go a bit lower just to get me a guaranteed close. And then reassess. We either, from that point, the same thing happens. We either push up again, retest again, there's a new entry to the next level of resistance. Or that's all we can get, that's all we can get out of it, and price then fails here and we head down. So we'll have to reassess that one when we get to that area in the price. How do you put an alert on the 50 level? Good question. So if you come up to here on alerts and then select the top one, change it to RSI, change the value to 50. Make sure you do it on the time frame that you actually want the alert to go off on. Change that to 50. I do it once per bar close because it can come up, touch it, go back, touch it, go back. And so it might be a bit false. So I want to know that price is closed above or below that 50 level. And that means that every time it closes above or below the 50, I'm going to get that alert because I've got it on open-ended. And then, write whatever you want in there and Bob's your uncle. So that's that. Also very, very likely that if something like that does play out, that we start to create this sort of a pattern here, which will break down. So I'm definitely not looking to take longs to hold on for very long. If I can get a 2 to 1 out of it, I'll be in, out, take my profits, and off I go. I'm not thinking this is a reversal point right now. I'm not going to fool myself with that. I'm just going to take little day trades until we know exactly where the market is going. Dot, so this was the last live stream trade. We got down to target 2. I didn't take any of these trades. I hope someone did, because someone made money. But anyway, that's what happens. Don't know what I was doing. But let's reassess now. Let's have a quick look at the daily. So these are gone. We need a support line. By the way, guys, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to do that. I am trying to build a new habit of going live, not every day, because there are some days that I have other commitments, but going live as much as I can, and not weekends, because I live life on my own terms. But other than that, I'm going to try and go live maybe, let's say, 4 times a week. So I would love for you to subscribe if you're interested in more of these updates. And yeah, so you can get notified when I do that. And also leave me comments if you want to be famous and featured on my channel. Okay, so back to Dot. Now, looking good, okay? So this area here was a key resistance previously. Broke through, went parabolic, and we've come back to settle here. So looking good on a higher time frame. Going to discount that because we already discovered that that was just on this particular chart. It doesn't happen ever. It doesn't happen on every chart. And so yeah, now let's go down to the 4 hour. Ronnie, that is a brilliant question. If I can get divergence on multiple time frames, that's extremely exciting. So the reason I was watching Ethereum so closely last night was because we got it on the on the 4 hour. Sorry. And I was waiting to see if we'd get it on the 1 hour. I don't think we got it, but the 4 hour was, obviously stronger than the 1 hour. So it was still worth taking that trade, but it was just a little bit high risk for me. So I didn't. Now, Dot on the 4 hour. Yeah, we're currently, playing around here. So on the 4 hour, we have a divergence there, a slight one that I'll mark out. So that's a potential good sign. But now we need the change in trend. So again, just want price to do something like this, continue up, break this trend line, create a higher low. That will be the entry, take it up to resistance. That's what I'll be looking at. The other thing is that is also very, very likely is that we break up here. We can't break that trend line and we come back down to support. Now, because that support, let me just go back to the daily, because that support is so strong, I wouldn't be that confident to hold it past. However, if we do, then we're probably going to go down to this level, but you're going to have to reassess at the time, is there going to be enough in the trade for you? And there probably will be. If price comes up, say somewhere up here, and you can have your stop loss just above this area back down to the previous support, you're going to have a 3 to 1 trade. So there is a good little day trade in there, but I want to see price push up a little bit more, reject off that level, bearish engulfing and whatnot, show us the sellers are coming back before you take that trade, or the momentum is really quite strong to the upside and it breaks that trend line and we push out. So yeah, that's looking good so far. XRP was, what were we thinking on XRP? Thinking breakdown. So far I've got to the first target, but not the second. Not sure why I had that second target there. Again, I'm not really all that interested in trading XRP at the moment. But I was watching this last night because I think they settled, or whatever it was. I think they settled with the SEC. So I was waiting to see if something exciting would happen, and nothing exciting happened. So I'm going to leave XRP alone. I'm going to take these all off and just let's give that one some time and reassess later. And the other one that I added yesterday was Sol. Now, this was a trade I did take and actually took it off one of my students. Was telling me that he was watching it at the time that I was watching Ethereum instead. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to take one high risk trade, and I decided to take this one. And I like to prove it to you guys so you know that I'm not making shit up. But that's where my trade is at right now. That was the last screenshot I took. And yeah, so far it's looking good. Good momentum. I'm happy. We took it because we got the 1 hour divergence. So I will point that out to you again. It was it here? No, hang on. I'll put the lower one in first. It's here. So we had that divergence there, and it also was a key level of support on Solana. So yeah, took that. I like Solana anyway. Gonna try and ride it up to target 1 to give me a 3-to-1 trade, but my minimum is 2-to-1. So I'm gonna reassess when we get around this level here. I might actually put that in as target 1 and change the other one to target 2. But yeah, we'll see how we go, because that will have to break the trend line to get to my target. So watching that one closely. But they're the only ones I'm really watching at the moment. Let me just see these questions. Joining on a work call. Okay, awesome. No real questions. I'll look at that one that was mentioned in the comments. That was Matic. Okay, so let's just mark this out. Oh, yes, very good point. What about the B word? Very good point. That's why I'm being super cautious. I knew there was something else I had to talk about, and I'm like, what is it? It was that. So thank you for the reminder. That B word well, Australian time, 2 a.m. tonight, I believe it starts. So yeah, again, going to be really, really super cautious about the markets. I think it's a disgusting shame that one human being can move the market so much, but it is what it is, and everybody's waiting to see what Elon is going to say at this thing. And so yeah, it's a time to be cautious. But the thing is good news in a bull market really drives the bull market. Good news in a bear market doesn't really have much effect. So let's see. We really don't know. And also I think the crypto community is a bit over Elon anyway. So who knows? Like, is his strength weakening? We don't really know, but I'm not going to try and pick that. So I'm not going to try and long or short the market based off whatever is said at that thing. I'm just going to trade it solely based off TA and what the charts tell me. That I think that is the safest way to do it. And if I do open any trades before then definitely going to protect them as soon as I can get to an area where they can be protected. Matic just looks like a real slow death to me, so no, I'm not that interested in this. Let's see if there's anything on the 1 hour short term. Yeah, no, I don't. This is not like I like to look for things that are really quite clean and easy, and this might start to trend. It's not yet. Let's see if it can follow this 1 hour trend line. Maybe there'll be something in it. If you're already in it, great. But if you're looking to get in it, probably, yeah. See if you can get something like that. But yeah, that's not one for me. B word is so it's a I don't know what you call. Oh, I'll get that thing off now. It's like a convention or a large gathering thing, and these speakers are coming on to talk about Bitcoin and its future and whatnot. And it's got that Kathy Woods and the Twitter CEO, and in the end, that the Twitter CEO, Jack Dorsey, he said to Elon Musk, like, come on and speak to people, like, come to the convention, let me interview you and speak to people about Bitcoin. And he said yes, which is good. So it's the first time we're going to actually hear from him other outside of his tweets. So we don't know what he's going to say. I think that's why a lot of people are just waiting for that, because if he's supportive of Bitcoin, which he is supportive of Bitcoin, I think his words get twisted a lot, and he just likes to play games, which isn't fun. But yeah, if he's still supportive of Bitcoin, and if he says, people are saying if he says that he's going to start accepting payment again, Bitcoin as payment for Teslas again, people think that that's going to be the catalyst that will bring the bull market back. So again, everything lines up, right? Like we had two days before that massive event, we had a dump down to 28K. Like, do these people all just work together? It kind of feels that way, right? Like they're just picking up their cheap Bitcoin, and who knows, if some amazing news comes out of that event, then we're going to know it for sure that this whole 2-month consolidation period was for them to just fill their bags and then, drive the market up later. So we'll see what happens out of that. I'm certainly not staying up till 2 a.m. to hear it, but we'll see. By the time us Aussies wake up, we should know the effects of that. Okay, so I think that's all I've got for you guys. Thank you for joining me today. Again, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the bell notification, because that's how you get notified when I do go live. I'm a random human. I can't stick to a schedule. So it's just whenever I think something might be looking good on the chart, I'm going to throw up a live and share it with you. So yes, thanks for joining, guys, and I will see you soon.